Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is your first time here. Welcome back if you watched my previous videos. My name is Maya and this is Far As Maya Can See. So, I am currently in the Pearl of Africa, Uganda. More specifically, I'm in Entebbe, Uganda. And I came here with a few agendas in mind. One agenda is to do missions work with UFAM, the United Faith Evangelism Ministry, doing mission work in different cities in Uganda, as well as helping facilitate a domestic violence awareness month event called Purple Power that is hosted by the Heather Hurley Foundation for the past 10 years in New York, but this is the first time that it's in Uganda. And I also have my own agenda in mind. So you know what type of content I like to share, what topics I like to research about, and just the niche of my channel overall. So in Grenada, I did how does climate change affect the residents there, and are they aware of the effects of that? So I was tempted to duplicate the same topic when I came to Uganda, but I thought I should do something different, but I didn't know what to do at all. So I'm thinking maybe when I come here, I can observe the surroundings and see what might be the best fit for me to record. So my first day here, driving from the airport to our apartment, I smell a lot of smoke, and I'm seeing a lot of smoke being emitted into the air. So at first I'm thinking multiple houses are on fire, but that didn't make any sense. So I'm like, oh, everybody's just barbecuing, right? And then as we get closer to these smoke pits, I'm seeing that it's trash being burned. And I'm like, that's interesting, I've never seen that before. And as time continues here, I'm making more observations. So I would buy a bottle of water, right? And I would drink it on the street, and now I would want to throw it away. I'm looking around now, there's no waste baskets, let alone recycling baskets on the street. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hold on to this until I find a waste basket. And when we began our missionary work last week, we decided to travel to the Nile first to just enjoy something before we get into doing the mission work. So we went to the Nile, and as we're waiting to board our boat to go down, I noticed that there's trash right by the Nile. And for me, not seeing it before, the Nile just seemed like a very majestic and protected place. It's an ancient and long river. It's an unusual river because it flows the opposite direction from every other river in the world. And just to see it being defaced and defiled like that in that way, I found it very disrespectful and very surprising. So somehow I convinced our driver to help me pick up that trash there. The first place we visited was Palisa. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And as soon as we arrived where the van pulled up, I just noticed trash literally right underneath the van. So you know I had to record it. Hey, goat. We came to Palisa to give out food. We gave out chapati, we gave out water, ice cream, popcorn, candy, clothes, some jewelry, and it was a very fulfilling experience. One thing I noticed though, that the people were very comfortable for when they finished a water bottle, finished the popcorn, they easily just disposed it at their feet, where in the area that they lived, in their neighborhood. And I was like, that's a bit shocking to me, you know, just based off the culture that I grew up in. It was a shock to me. So for those who really know me, I can't help it. I'm wearing a skirt, I hike it out, and I just start picking up trash. And they're like, no, don't do it, we'll do it. Then they start doing it, but I'm still doing it too. I'm like, you gotta do this together, because I brought these things here to you, right? I need to show you how to dispose of it. And just by witnessing the lack of waste management practices, the lack of waste bins, the burning trash, and how comfortable people are with throwing trash where they live, I'm like, I have to do a video on waste management. Waste management is just the process and actions required to manage waste to its final disposal. Types of waste include organic waste, like your fruits and vegetables, e-waste, electronic waste, so your phones, tablets, laptops, and also solid waste, which is everything else. Types of waste management include recycling, biological reprocessing, repurposing, incineration, and animal feed. Due to a lack of waste baskets, organic waste and solid waste baskets on the streets, people have no choice or are very comfortable with just taking their water bottle and tossing it into the street. So on the roads, they have the trenches and then the road where people walk and drive. And a lot of trash ends up in these trenches. And the trenches, the purpose is to gather rainfall to reduce flood, and a lot of water flow gets blocked because of trash. The end place the water goes to is, I've heard from one of the residents, is a swamp, so trash ends up gathering there in the swamp. And I read that it also blocks the sewage systems here. The practice of burning trash can cause long-term health problems within itself. So when you're burning trash, your household trash right in front of your house, in your neighborhood, it releases volatile organic chemicals into the atmosphere. Now when you're burning your plastic, that emits heavy metals and toxic chemicals into the air, and it's not healthy to breathe in on a daily basis. So I'm just listing my observations from my experience being in Uganda for these 2+ weeks. But you know what would be better if we speak to an actual born and bred Ugandan to see their daily observations of the waste management culture here in the Pearl of Africa. Good morning, everyone. Today I have traveled to Kampala, Uganda, to Nkumba University to meet a very special friend, my loquacious friend Kisami Samuel. Yes, he is a student here at the university studying journalism. So it's a bit different for him to be the one answering questions, and I'm interviewing him, so he's in the hot seat, so he just needs to be adaptable today. So
it is my pleasure because to have you, because always I've been the one interviewing people.
Yes.
But now you the one interviewing me.
Time for a change.
So time for change. I'm happy.
That's good. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm really fine. I'm happy. You can't see my happiness, but I feel it in my heart.
We can feel it. We can feel your happiness, yes.
Yes, yeah.
So we can get right into the topic. So I want to know, tell me a bit about the waste management culture in Uganda based on what you observe on a daily basis.
Okay. Waste management, it is, okay, I'm sorry to say, but it is a disease to Africa. Okay. Why? I accept the matter of fact that we are in third world country, okay, whereby our culture, we are not so sensitized about the disadvantages of waste disposal, okay, and few of the population who knows the disadvantage. Of course, they know what to do, but not all of them, okay? As I told you before that I accept the matter of fact that we are in the third world country. So here, our culture, I use, like, if I go to the supermarket, I buy sweet, I buy bottle of water, after taking what I wanted from it, I throw it anywhere. Yeah. It is culture. That's why when you travel and you go to lakes, rivers, the banks, you see a lot of wastes there. Okay. When you are traveling on the streets, you find a lot of it. Yeah, we have vans that come and pick, but it is not actually expensive. Like 1,000 shillings.
So you have to pay a van to come and pick up your trash?
Yes. like 1,000, 2,000 shillings. It's not really expensive. I believe that everyone can afford that, but I'm not going to call it that poverty, no, but we need sensitization. You may find that the price is too low that everyone can afford, but still they don't do it. Okay, they don't pay. And guess what comes next? Okay, after refusing to pay for the van to take the waste, of course the kids will play with it in the compound, and it will go in the water and in the kitchen, you get. So what comes is to get sickness, diseases.
So it seems like the main issue here is the miseducation or non-education that citizens are getting, or not making a priority to have a van come collect their trash. So the small percentage that you're talking about that is aware of waste management, I've noticed from research, is the people in Kampala. They do have the e-waste management and they have the recycling systems in place. But however, we have other citizens of Uganda, the ones that are they don't belong to towns. So in your opinion, what do you think would be the best way to reach those people, to educate them a bit more?
I would encourage that everyone should learn how to handle the waste management. Okay, how to handle the wastes after using. You put it where it's supposed, or burn it. I would encourage everyone to do that. And the way forward. I think that not only the government should be sensitizing people, but me, as the head of the family, I should know and educate my children, okay? Because as I told, like, charity begins at home, okay?
Yeah.
So if it is not our culture at home, even if I grow up or I travel, I will not change that much. Okay.
You mentioned a little bit that.
So.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. So my message is that every head of the family should get to know the advantage of cleaning your home, okay, and educate the members of the family, because I believe that if you do the same, I do, she does, and everyone will live in healthy environment, clean environment, promising environment, gorgeous, yeah, yes, environment. Yeah, that's what we should do. That we go from the government, local government, and in the family, in my house, in my bedroom. Every morning I waking up, I should check under the bed and I see if there is something I kept there so that I can take it. I go with it outside and I burn it, I throw it in the rubbish pit. Yes, that's what you should do.
I like that idea by saying that it starts from home and then you teach the next generation and then they go on to teach their friends in that way.
Yeah, because even if the government try as much as possible to put the adverts on social medias, on everywhere, I believe that nothing will change much. Why? Because not everyone that is interested, okay? So, but if I, the father of the family, I get to know and I educate my wife and my children, I believe that they will adopt that culture. And I must be the example, not just talking, and I do the vice versa, okay? So I must adopt the culture, I act the example, and I say, I educate my family, okay? So if I educate my family and my neighbor does the same, okay, my children, they'll adopt it, and when they go somewhere and they see the same, it will be a new thing to them. So they will tell those people they have, like, this is bad. So you see how the chain flows, okay? So I believe that is what we need to do to change Africa.
Thank you for that response.
Yeah.
So Is it safe to say that media doesn't reach every household in Uganda?
Possibly, yes.
Could that be a reason why newscasting and advertisement isn't educating the larger population?
Uh, Here, to have TV, like to watch news and TV, you pay. You pay Go TV, Star Times, DSTV, okay? And not everyone that can afford that. And television is a very expensive. 1 million point, you get a two
And more, yeah.
and more. So not everyone that can afford that. Okay, even the radios, not everyone that can afford electricity, because if you go to deep villages, you may make research like 10 homes when there is no television, there is no electricity. So how do you expect those people to access the information
Exactly.
from the TV? That is impossible, okay? Let us believe that. But if the father of that house get to know what exactly to do, I believe that in that area there will be a change. So not necessarily that we need TV, but we need the head of the family, be it a father or a mother, to sensitize others, his or her family, so that they can adopt the culture.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a little bit about how majority of the population is the youth, right? So looking at the youth, they're going to be the ones that give hope to our future generations, right? So would it be a resolution to have this being taught to students in school? Would that be a way to help?
I do believe that we have courses and classes, subjects that sensitize that. But as I said before, that charity begins at home.
But then if majority of the percentage is the youth, isn't it safe to say that some of these children don't have their parents?
We fail to put things most likely like that we have not seen in our childhood. Sometimes it is very hard for us to adopt. So if I was born by you and I didn't get that from you, and maybe on 15 years, 10 years, I go to school and they tell me that, it will be, yes, I'll know, but I forget maybe when I go home. Because if I see my young sister, my young brother doing the same, of course, I'll forget what I've learned and I'll do the same. Okay? Yeah. So I believe that what we need as youth, okay, after learning, I put in practice. And when I go back, I tell the family that, no, don't do this, but do this. Okay? Just the challenge that Africa, let me say, that if you are my mother and I tell you that don't do this, it is bad. Of course, you see maybe have disrespected you, okay? So that's also a challenge. Maybe you are sending a message to parents and guardians at home to obey their children. Yeah, when they are trying to tell them something that helps to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's switch it back to you personally, put you on the hot seat. So what are your waste management practices?
Pardon?
How do you manage your waste?
I personally, I'm an educated person. So educated.
I can tell.
Yeah, that's all. Okay. So I know what to do. Okay. So if you go where I stay, it is very rare to find rubbish. Okay, because I have a sack. Okay, I have even a basket. So in my room there is a basket. Everything, papers you find, those things that I don't want, you find them there. So after, in the morning, I take them in the sack outside. So when I get time, I burn. Okay?
Okay.
So I think that I'm a good example. That's why the healthy I am, the way I look healthy, I know what to do.
I want you to pretend this camera is your friend. And this is a friend that's not sensitized or educated on the topic. How would you educate them on waste management for them to understand and actually want to care about? So this is your friend.
Okay, my friend who is watching me now, I want to tell you that we are not, we move, the country is moving, okay, forward, not backward. So if you have that mentality that eating something and you throw it anywhere that will save your environment, that is wrong. So I beseech you, I kindly request you that get to know the advantages of living in clean environment.
So based on this interview with Samuel, I would like to clear up something. I mentioned the miseducation of the people, but it's not that they're being misinformed, they're just lacking the information. Due to the high poverty rates here in Uganda, a lot of people don't have that access to technology like we do on a daily basis to be in tune with the world and the news. So we need to find ways to be able to reach those people because they're the majority. Than people that are in the capital of Kampala and the people that are in the towns. So I did some research and I just wanted to put into numbers the waste management and the trash being collected and things like that. So 700 tons of plastic is disposed in Uganda daily and only 500 tons is collected. I think we can deduce that that number is flawed because of places that do not have trash bins to be collected, and for the fact that you have to pay for your trash to be collected. So if you don't have the waste bin and if you don't have the money to pay for the trash collection, this is not being weighed and it's not being counted in this number. So we can already deduce that 700 plus tons of plastics is disposed in Uganda on a daily. So prior to coming to Uganda, I was warned about typhoid being in the water, so I should always brush my teeth with a water bottle and drink from a water bottle. And if I wanted to use the water from the faucet, I must boil it first. So we're in a country that depends on plastic bottles, right? But 93% of the plastics in Uganda is non-recyclable. I believe that is a more government issue where you have these plastics and you're not teaching people how to dispose of it, and neither do you know how to dispose of it. Something is off. And when I read the reason why the plastics are not recyclable is because the technology that they currently have is not able to handle it. I'm not sure if it's the amount of plastic or just can't handle recycling plastic at all. First of all, for a resolution, people need to be taught how to dispose of their waste. There need to be ways for them to dispose of their waste. So I know there are a lot of poverty-stricken areas in Uganda and they don't have access to technology like how we do on a daily basis. But just by having an organic waste bin and a solid waste bin on these streets, it gives people idea now to understand what solid waste is, what organic waste is, and how to dispose of it. And it should be free to have trash collection. Also, trash burning in your neighborhood in front of your house, that should be ceased. That should not be allowed to go on anymore. Also, which we can start with the government, they can improve the technology for processing recyclables. So, as I'm doing research still, the government has made a few promises. They said by 2025, they would like to have 30% of waste generated in the city to be recycled and put to use again, which brings me to repurposing plastics. So what's a positive that I noticed that is being implemented in schools here in Uganda is a repurposing project where they take plastic bottles and they use it to grow greens, beans, and cabbage. And they even go as far as implementing that in their own home. So for families that don't have farmland to grow their crops, they can take their waste, their plastic bottles, and grow these crops and use it as a source of income for the family. Uganda is a beautiful place. It has the most fertile soil in the world, and it can grow just about whatever you want it to. They have 2 harvests every year, so you know they're abundant in produce, and they have natural minerals here as well. We must treat Uganda in that way for the beauty that it has. And it starts by just throwing away the trash and having the ability to do so conveniently.